Hey, dear Tyler, good evening. How are you doing? I hope you're good. I hope you're fine. Happy weekend. How was Valentine's Day for you? I really hope you had fun. And if you've not listened to my Valentine fantasy, trust me, you are missing a lot. It was a really hilarious episode. When I, was recording the episode, I was just laughing because I was like, man, your imagination is going way too far. But I think it was fun. Sometimes just being lost in all of that experience, just create some form of happiness for you. You're not the only one that is single, right? And being single is not a sin. So if you're looking for some form of happiness, just create it. So it was really fun doing the episode. Was there any lesson in that episode? I don't think so. Typically in most Dear Tyler episodes that we do, we have a particular lesson that we're trying to teach, or, basically do that. Something that is like a take home. But apparently for that episode I didn't have. But it was good to just catch fun, catch cruise and all. And I've been having long days, extremely long days, close from work around after 6 today. When I was, dropped off. So it's been pretty tasking and demanding. But it's always good to have us here. And so, we're still in the month of love, as it is called, February. And we're going to continue in that same light, right? So, today's topic, or tonight's topic, is confronting your ex. Confronting your ex. And I know I gave like a little teaser on my WhatsApp. I was like telling people that follow me on WhatsApp that I was going to do an episode about that. And a lot of people were like shocked. They were like, "Oh my God, what's he going to talk about? Hey, is this guy a man that has sown his oats around and all, And then everybody having their own interpretation of the topic. So yeah, at least now I'll be able to explain exactly what I wanted to say. But I'm going to start with a pretty vulnerable information. I've always wanted Dear Tyler to be a voice of vulnerability, where I can be as open as possible, and the people that are part of the podcast, sometimes when I get invited guests, I want them to be as vulnerable as possible. And so I've really done that to the best of my ability, and I really do hope that we understand the perspective from which I come from, or from the perspective from which I speak from, rather. So I've lived a little bit, and in this my short life, I've had a lot of eventful experiences, and one of the major experiences definitely has to do with my love life. I have loved people in this world. You cannot imagine the amount of people I've told, "I love you, you mean the world to me, I cannot do without you, I will be here for you forever, you're the one for me, you're my miracle, God has blessed me by giving me you, or you me," or all of those things. I've said I'll be here forever, I'll stand by you. All those things I used to say, typical love expressions, right? And so I've had my own fair share of relationships. Probably I've had relationships that were like relationships, and then I've had flings. And let's say that I've had like four solid relationships, right? Where there was a proper communication of "I love yous," and being there for each other. And 4, which is quite a lot. Now the dangers of having experiences like I have, right, where you've loved multiple people, right, you've poured out your heart to multiple people, is that sometimes you almost lose your innocence, right? It gives you the impression that you are I'm looking for the best word to use. sometimes it gives you the impression that you're unstable, that you cannot make choices, you cannot, make a decision and then stick to it, right? Those are some of the issues. And, I think it's one thing that I've struggled with. God is helping me. But many times you tend to just feel very, very bad, be like, oh my God, I've gone here and there. It could be very, very devastating, right? Very, very devastating. For some people, they're like, I know, having multiple relationships, it teaches you about love. At least you get to understand people, you know what to do when you meet the next person, And growing up, I had never, ever wanted to date more than one person. Now, this young man has dated 4 people and has probably crushed twice that number. And it's crazy, right? It's crazy. And, I may not be the only one. Definitely, I'm not the only person in the world that has had that experience, right? So at least I'm not going to feel totally bad. You'll be like, oh my God, Binga, you, man of God, even you. Yeah, so that's it. I have had my own flings. And this is what birthed the concept of this episode, and I really hope that you'll hear my heart at the end of it all. When you have multiple experiences with people, you begin to have multiple expectations on others. Right? I'll say it again. When you have multiple experiences with people, you tend to build multiple expectations on others. Now, I found out a particular trend in my life, and probably it might have happened to a lot of other people, right? It's not like a law that it must happen to you, but I believe that it's a lot of us might have had this experience, and it's highly probable. When you've had multiple experiences like in me, you have that tendency, right, of going into the next relationship either with these two things, either with an expectation. Now, an expectation that the person you intend to be with is as good as the one you had left, or you enter with the fear that the person would repeat whatever traumatic experience you had in your previous relationship, right? So those are some of the challenges. So not all relationships, are bad. Sometimes it's not everybody that was evil, or did something wrong. For many people, maybe they were just like, there was a difference. You people just had maybe some certain differences, or maybe something came up, not that anybody was evil. Do you understand? Maybe directly breaking the heart of another. Maybe circumstances, maybe change of location. Maybe you discovered maybe a particular health challenge, or you had, just an encounter that kind of like put both of you in the middle, and you just had to make that choice to call it off. While some other people were really, really shown the other side of hell. It was just crazy, maybe a lot of abuse, physical, mental, emotional, psychological, whatever it is, right? There was just like a whole level of abuse, right? Now, when you enter into multiple relationships, right, and you make commitments to multiple people, what happens is that you may either hold on to the good memory so much that you will always weigh people based on the good memories that you had, or you would be so cautious in a relationship, right? You'll be so suspicious of the next person you want to be with, right? Because of the bad experiences that you've had. You'll be like, men will always be men. And if this person could do this to me, I'm sure you too, you can also do that to me. And I think one of the reasons why we have these issues is because we do not properly deal with our exes, right? And so that's why I said this topic is confronting your ex. And it's because we do not properly deal with our exes. While I was coming home from work today, I thought to myself deeply, and I said, it's absolutely unfair, right, to expect somebody to be as good as another person, or to perceive that somebody has the potential to do evil like another person. We have to give people the ability to be themselves, and for us to be able to look within and love them for who they are, not who we want them to be, right? It's absolutely unfair that somebody else has to pay for the pain that another person caused, or somebody has to rise up to a height that somebody else attained. We're all at different levels, right? We're all at different levels. And it's absolutely unfair that you make a demand on an individual to do something that maybe they're not up to it at that moment. Now, for the person that maybe had a good experience, and then they had to call it a relationship, and then we begin to size up every other person to that person's standard, right? One thing we need to know is that everybody has a unique growth experience, right? So maybe that individual was brought up in a loving home, right? They were taught love properly. They were cultured well, right? Their level of transformation is different, right? Is heightened. So there are a lot of other things. Maybe the person is mature, mentally, both physically, mentally, emotionally. They've learned, they've studied, they've done their homework. So you became a beneficiary of their own preparation, not necessarily that you were good in yourself, but the other person had built themselves up to the point that they could reciprocate love, right? And also contain your excesses, right? So because you had a good relationship does not necessarily mean that you were ultimately good. The other party must have also taken a whole lot of your flaws. And if you are particularly honest with yourself, you know that even the perfect relationship, even the individual that has given you the best of love, right? There were many times that you had to forbear, you had to forgive, you had to look at the other side of the individual's weakness, right? And you decided that, okay, I'm not going to hold this thing against you. Why? Because I have found a reason to love you, right? So when you understand that people, different upbringings, right, will create different settings in their lives for them, right? Very, very important. And I needed to get that. Once you get to understand that, you would really, really allow people to grow into themselves. You would tend to pick up a reason to love somebody beyond what you just necessarily expect from them. Now, should you expect things from people? Yes, why not? Right? Have your standards, have your taste. But when you decide to love somebody, right, you've got to love them for who they are and where they are at the moment. Then you can love them into the best they can be, not the best that you want them to be, right? It's very important that you love them to the best that they can be, because what you may want may not even be the best of them, right? You too, you're growing. We're all flawed in our own eyes, in our own expectations, right? So opening up our hearts for, God to lead us, to help another individual become the best that they can be, is a lot better than making people the best that we want them to be, right? So it's absolutely unfair to put those kind of expectations on people, right? And then on the flip side, why should somebody bleed? Why should somebody else bleed for a wound that they did not cause? For a wound that they did not cause. Many times, and I'm using myself as an example, right? My last relationship is one relationship, I think that it hurts. It hurts, and it hurts because this person genuinely loved me. And I would say that I had a whole lot of insecurities on my own part. But then this person really, really, really loved me, right? And it's something I could not deny. I can't deny, and if I ever get to meet her again, in the presence of everybody, I'll say this person, right, did not hold back anything. We had our own little issue, and it was distance, right, where she was leaving the country, and I don't do well with distance. I'm not planning to travel out of the country as a resident, as a resident rather, anytime soon, right? And going out of the country was her dream, was her own passion. And that was where our major conflict came up. I had my own issues, right? I had my own issues too, but I would never open up and say that she did not love me. No, that's an outright lie. This lady loved me from the depth of her heart, from the depth of her heart, and she didn't hide it. I was she took my matter on her, like she carried my matter. She carried my matter. Beautiful, beautiful, very exquisite lady. Now, one of the challenges I had was my previous relationship was extreme. It ended in a very, very bitter way, and because that is the relationship before this other person, right, ended in a very, very bitter way for me, where I began to doubt my ability to do anything good, generally, right? I just felt like I was an underachiever, and this other person now that I was with, she is extremely focused, go-getter. Man, no. It could be quite intimidating, especially when you have those complex issues, right? Then you now meet a lady that is a go-getter, and a high achiever, right? Very, very, very proficient, a medical doctor, right? And a good one at that. Now, I carried that insecurity, and I was waiting for her to literally tell me, "Oh, Binga, you're not doing well enough, you're not achieving, you're not this, you're not this, you're not that, you're not this, you're not that," right? And I was almost, I was being overly cautious with her because of my previous experience. I hope you understand what I'm saying and where I'm getting to with this, right? And because I held on so much to my past experience, I do not enjoy the benefits of the present, right? I didn't know the potentials of the future that I could really, really enjoy. This lady did not hurt me. It was another lady that hurt me, but she was suffering for the pains that somebody else caused, which was absolutely unfair from my part. Now, the truth is that I had not dealt with my ex, that was that ex at that time. So you can see how many multiple exes is not a very good thing. It can be confusing. So you can even see, I couldn't find a proper design that had some X equations, but pi kind of like suits it all, right? So you can see that because I had not probably dealt with the issues of my ex, right, I could not enjoy the relationship with this person. And this person here, like I said, was absolutely all out for me, absolutely all out for me. If not for the difference in where we should be at a particular time in our lives, this person was all out for me. And that's the danger of not confronting your ex. So now I'm not asking you to go and find your ex and say, "I am looking for you. I've searched and searched all over, right? And I have found you and I'm here to confront you. Why did you do this to me?" Or something. No, that's not it. It's about taking every experience, whether it be good or whether it be bad, and shelving it. Shelving it, not necessarily saying that become careless or carefree, right? If you have good experiences, it should be a pointer that there is good in people. If you allow people to be themselves and you also play your own part in building other people, you would see the beauty in their lives. And then if it's a bad experience, right, you have to also know that they are not the ones that hurt you. In as much as in men is the potential to hurt, right? Give them the opportunity to fail you. Give them the opportunity to hurt you, right? Allow them that chance. Don't just stand and expect it to happen. Because the moment you enter into anything with anybody with the expectation that they're going to do what another person did to you, right? The moment you enter into that setting, what happens is that you become extremely suspicious. You begin to build walls, and you just have a whole lot of issues, which is not good for you at all, Tyler. It's not good for you. So it's very important that you learn to deal with all of your issues. Deal with all of your issues. Confront your ex, right? Whatever it is, and then give room to this other person that has decided to walk with you, or you'd want to walk with, right? Give them that opportunity, right? To have a level playing field. Many of us enter relationships with the obstacles of the past. It's not fair. It's not fair. It's really, really not fair. Imagine you loving somebody so much, and then the person says that whenever I see you, I see my ex and what he did to me or what she did to me. You'll be like, come on, give me a chance. Give me a chance. I'm not your ex. I don't know what your ex did. But why are you blaming me for your ex? Or why are you trying to size me up to your ex? You know, all of those things. It's very important that we confront it. And we have to confront it in all truth. Because many people tend to hide most of these experiences, most of these things. They suppress it. Then they enter marriage. And they have a very rough patch. Now, it does not just have to deal with just your with just your relationships, but it could even be your family, right? What was the experience that you had in your family? You're now building a new family, right? Your experience in your family has become your ex, right? That you're not going to expect that, oh, this very toxic trait is going to happen in my place. No, you have the ability to create something new for yourself, but you've got to allow yourself say that, okay, I came from this experience. I came from this particular place. And in as much as it was bad, I am letting it go. I've used this particular scripture a lot, and this is what I'll use to finalize this whole discussion. Paul says that forgetting those things which are behind, I press on towards the mark. Meaning, he never said forgetting the bad things which are behind. He said forgetting those things which are behind, good or bad. Good or bad. You've got to let it go. Right? You got to let it go. Don't allow experiences hold you from having better experiences. Don't allow your past experiences hold you from having better experiences. So he says that forgetting those things which are behind, I press toward the mark. There is a goal that I have. I have let go. I have, confronted my ex. I have confronted my issues. I've confronted my past. And I have dealt with it to the best of my ability. Some other things, I will not deny that your partner would help you solidify a lot of your convictions or your expectations, right? They would help you, yes. But it will all come when you're as open as possible. Sometimes, right, I wish I really sat down and I spoke with this lady and I told her, okay, this is where I'm coming from. These are some of the things that I'm having issues with, right? I really feel very little about myself, and your ability to break boundaries, or your ability to accomplish a lot, as much as it's inspiring, it's quite intimidating, right? And it's because I just feel like I'm not as quick as you. And would have solved a whole lot of things. If the person cannot look at my honesty and my vulnerability and take it as a precious tool, then maybe we're not meant to be together. If it becomes a point of ridicule, that, so Binga, you feel this way about yourself, you think this about you, right? And they use it against me, then it's a proof that the person really didn't care about me. And as much as I know, right, about me and this other lady, right, she was willing to understand, talk it through, but I never just said it because I did not want to look like an underachiever in her eyes, But yeah, so it's well. So it's very important, Tyler, that we learn to confront our exes. Confront them. Deal with it. Accept what has happened and move on to something new. Do not be a victim of the past. Your dwelling in the past robs you of any good experience that you can have in the now. And if your now feels bitter, you will only translate it into your future. So it's very important. If you've not had multiple, glory be to God for you. Do you understand? Glory be to God for you. and trust God that you'll be able to make the right decision. But then if you've made, you've gone into multiple relationships, ask God for grace to be able to deal with these things, right? And decide that you're going to confront it and deal with it once and for all, right? So, yeah, I really hope that this blessed you. It's intended to bless you as always, right? And another episode will be coming to you shortly, and I think this one will be quite funny. We'll work towards making it very hilarious and everything, right? But this is me saying thank you, Tyler, for listening to this episode. Please remember to share, to like. We're on YouTube and a whole lot of other platforms, so please check us out there, right? And remember that I love you, I believe in you, and I'm always rooting for you. Bye.